Good evening, everybody. So, as you probably know, or my viewers know already, that my name is Robert Centeno. I am one of the co-founders to TGT, the Guys Tech. So we are primarily a computer or a technology consulting group where if you have any questions such as buying advice, which way to go, what do you need, either from computers, cameras, phones, cables, could be anything technology related, all the way up to serious networking and infrastructure and all that wonderful stuff, we will have your answer. We can build it, we can guide you, we can go along with you to the store and help explain things to you. We can do pretty much anything you want. In that area, we also do some marketing assistance, so we do help people. And that's our primary focus. But that's something that you're always going to know that we do. You've seen all my little advertisements and videos with my daughter, and that part you all get. The other part of what we do is we want to help people with personal development, with helping people to get through difficult times or be able to make the right choice in a difficult situation. Okay, this is part of life. Okay, the only way that any business can succeed, that any business owner can be successful, or that you can be successful as an employee, is if you're in the right place up here and here. And I've said that tons and tons of times on different videos, but it's something that is very, very important for people to understand, because that really is that is the foundation of you being able to be the person that you want to be, whether it is a business owner, a husband, a wife, a mother, a father, people who are going to have success and be able to build your family, build your business, expand and do whatever you want to do in your life. It all starts with your state of mind, okay? And it's really important to all of us. And even though you see me doing the videos, and most of you are familiar with only me, the guys that I have backing me up, I couldn't do this type of stuff without them. We have a group of very, very talented young men, and so I just want to say thanks to you guys. That's why we came up with just the simple name, the Guys Tech. Okay. But we're all real human beings who have gone through some very real shit, some really difficult situations. And another part of what we do is we want to be able to help connect to people and help people, guide people. So why? So you don't all make the same mistakes that we did, because we've been there, we've done that, we know how it is. Okay, and some of us have been through really, really, really painful experiences. Okay, now one thing I got told recently by a couple of people is, people will say, well, Robert, why are you giving advice? You're divorced, you've made this mistake, you've made that mistake, and blah 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 and all this. Well, that's exactly why. That's actually my main motivation to get on camera and talk to people, is because I have screwed up. I have made catastrophic mistakes. I'm not talking about mistakes where I'm like, I order the Big Mac, and then when I get the Big Mac at McDonald's, I realize I should have ordered the chicken nuggets instead. Damn it. I'm not talking about bullshit things like that. I'm talking about really serious, life-altering mistakes. In the past, I've also been burned by people. I was burned by an entire family of Christian people, who it was. That's for another story. But the point being is that I've been through things where I have been the cause of my own disasters, and I've been through things where other people that I loved and counted on to be there for me during times of weakness that have all betrayed me. And a lot of us have been through that. And for a lot of people who have been through painful situations, we don't always make it out in one piece. Some people don't make it out. Some people take their own lives. Some people end it, because the pain and of the loss of whatever it is that we have gone through is just too much. And there is so much more to life. There's so much more to you, to me, and to all the different things that life does have to offer, regardless of what situation you might be facing right now and what's happening in the United States and in other countries around the world. Regardless of all the negative bullshit going on, there are so many great things out there for us if we really pick ourselves up and push ourselves forward. Okay, and that's what I seek to do ultimately. Is I've learned from my mistakes, and I want to help grow people, grow individuals, grow businesses, grow communities, strengthen everybody, because at the end, we are all we have during difficult times is each other. We go through painful situations, and people go to their homes and they lock themselves in their room and they cry and they think, God, why me? Why did this happen to me? Why? But you're not alone. A lot of us have faced horrible, horrible things, as I've said several times. And it's times like that when you're really hurting and when you're really in pain that you need to contact your friends, that you need to talk to people who have experience in painful situations. And how did you get over this? How did you handle that situation? What did you do? What did you not do? It's things like that where we really need to stand by each other as friends, family, and enough with this bullshit about how we're only people out there. Like, I've got people in my own family who they only see themselves. It's like people live in their own little bubble, and everything is about them, their job, their own life, and this and that, and they don't do anything to actually go and be there for the people that have helped them reach the success that they have. And we know lots of people like that, friends and family and people who just ultimately don't understand that in order to get anywhere in life, we all need each other. Even if you're opening a business, if you're going to be an owner, you need your employees. You need your employees more than they need you. Believe me. When you're an owner or a restaurant owner or computer company owner, whatever it is, especially if you are in the service and the customer service business, you need your employees more than they need you. Okay? I don't care how much money you might be making or whatever your success may be, your employees or your friends or your relatives, the people that are responsible for your lifeline, your blood, keeping you where you're at, whether it's your job, you're making money because you have a good sales team, or you've got great friends who are there for you when you need help, or you have a very supportive family. When the time comes, we all need each other, okay? And it's very, very important that we all understand that, okay? And with that in mind, what we're going to talk about now is the beginnings, the mindset that you need to have in order to start planning for your future, okay? And we're going to get into all types of stuff. I'm going to be making a ton of videos on this. I've been putting this off for a while because I've had a lot of stuff going on in my life. I've got a million plans going on. I'm trying to do some crazy stuff, very exciting stuff, and I hope that many of you will eventually be part of what I'm going to be doing, but that's for a later time. Now we're going to start getting into how to really build a really good, strong future for yourself, okay? So just give me a second and we'll start getting into it. So when I talk to people about the future and getting older and making plans, a lot of times there are two things that I hear from people the most. One is I meet people who have all types of dreams, things that they would love to be able to do, but they don't believe in themselves. They don't think it's possible. So they just kind of dismiss everything and they don't really work to achieve anything simply because they don't believe in themselves, okay? And that we're going to talk about in another time. And actually, I've already talked about that a few times, so I'll have the links here just to make it easier for you to hopefully hear the right words to help people to start pushing themselves further. So that's one of the things I hear. The next thing I hear, which in my opinion is kind of silly, but I'm not trying to insult anybody, but I get people who will say things like, well, Robert, about the future, I just live every day like it's my last. We could all die tomorrow. I could die tomorrow. I could die next week. Blah, 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 and all that bullshit. Okay? The average life expectancy on this planet is 80 years old. That's the average. Okay? And even with all of the horrible shit happening all over the place, look at who we have running for president here. A lot of people think this country is one of the greatest countries to live in, and that's, we're not doing well. This country is not doing well. And look at all over the world. There's tons of violence and wars and disease and hunger, and the list goes on and on and on. And the random accidents and bullets and accidental deaths, car crashes, plane crash, whatever. Okay? The news makes it seem really, really insane. But the reality is that the majority of people on this planet, like you and me, are going to be alive for a very, very, very long time. Okay? And you never know from one day to the next what the government will decide to release. As long as they're making money on it, as long as pharmacies are making money on it, okay? You never know what kind of cure or some kind of medication that can be released, that if you are going through a difficult health situation right now, whatever it is, you never know from one day to the next how the things can turn around for you, okay? In the same respect that we could die tomorrow, for the same respect, things can completely turn around. Like if you have cancer or whatever it is you may be stricken with, you never know, okay? But the majority of people will live to a very old age. My grandfather is 87 years old now, and even with all the health issues that he has, he's going to be around for a while, okay? They're doing pretty good. They're taking their medications, they're not... they're not doing everything 100% that they should be doing, but they're going to be around for quite some time. Okay, thank God. All right, and that is the mindset that you need to have. And this is I'm going to get a little bold here and tell you that this should not be subject to opinion. Okay, this is something that you really need to think about, because what happens now is we're all young. We are capable of working. We are capable of working hard. Some of us have 2 jobs, right? How many people do I know, especially in the Thai community, where people are working 2 jobs, 6 days, 7 days a week, okay? Working to send money to their families, eating in every single restaurant in Manhattan, traveling all over the place, this and that, the other thing, okay? But the thing is that you should be working hard now and try to make a plan to save your money now, because since most of us are going to be around for a long time, you need to make sure that when you are 70 and 80 years old, you don't have to work anymore. Okay? Because I'm telling you now, if you have this mentality of, well, I could go to outside to go cut my grass and I could get killed, or I could die, or I could fall, or something could happen to me on the way to the grocery store. Like, if that's your mental state, 50 years from now, you're going to be thinking the same, you're going to be in the same freaking situation, except every bone in your body is going to be hurting. You will need help to go to the bathroom. You're going to need help to get out of your bed. You're going to be going through really difficult times because of our age, because of our bodies start to deteriorate. And you do not. That is the time where you want to have the extra money to make sure that you can hire people to help you, right? Because we don't all have family members that are going to be taking care of us, right? Some of us, unfortunately, don't have good relationships with families. Some of us don't have friends that we can count on to be there for us. And if we do have friends, they're our age and they're probably going to need help just as much, right? So we need to make sure that when that time comes and you are old and you can barely walk and everything is hurting, that's when you need to make sure that you have the money to hire professional help to come to your home and, help cut the grass and the hedges and clean things for you. If something breaks, you have the money to hire the electrician to come to your house and get your new roof and do all of those extraordinarily important things that you will need to make sure that you can live comfortably, okay? That's why it's really important to work hard now and save money while you have the strength now, and stop this bullshit about how we could die next week or we could die tomorrow, because that's not going to happen, okay? And if God forbid something bad does happen to you, everybody, we got people saying, oh, I got to travel the world. I have to go here, I have to go there. I want to do this before I die. I want to have all these experiences before I die. But the thing is this, and I'm not trying to sound like a jerk, but if you get all this experience for your life and for yourself, then you die, it means nothing anymore. All of your experiences are gone. Who out there has died and says to themselves, well, God, it's a good thing that I traveled to 10 different countries before I died, huh? Have any of you had that experience? No. Then obviously not. So it's when you get older again, when you get older and you want to start traveling, you hire an Uber driver. You pay him a couple of extra dollars to come up and get your bags and bring them to the car. Pay somebody to take you to the airport. Pay somebody to pick you up, take you to the hotel. Pay people to do stuff for you. There's nothing wrong with that. Save your money. Make sure that if you have a husband or a wife or children and grandchildren, and we're gonna make videos about this. Next time I'm gonna start making videos about this. Start making opening different accounts. So if something bad does happen to you, you won't know anything because you're dead, right? But at least the people that you love, the people that are important to you, will be okay, right? Funeral expenses are insanely ridiculous, right? And then a lot of times what happens is if you had debt, if you still have to pay a mortgage on your house, or you've got cars and whatever, and you want to leave the home to your wife or to your kids, and you want to leave your cars to your wife or your kids and they're not paid off, well, someone's going to have to pay for that shit. And it would suck if, like this house now that I'm in now, my family has owned this house for like over close to 50 years now. This house has been the pillar of like a symbol of stability. My family will never sell this house, So imagine you want to leave your home or something to your family and friends, but then they can't afford to hold on to these things, and then they lose everything. So it's stuff like that we all have to think about, is, especially if you want to be able to make sure the people that you love are going to be okay, all right? And this is not like a sales thing about life insurance, about anything like that, okay? I'm not a licensed insurance person. I'm just trying to give advice to people to make sure that we start making better choices, okay? And it's not that if you're not doing what I'm telling you, I'm not saying that you're stupid or that you're living life the wrong way and everything, but these are really important topics. These are really heart-wrenching situations that will eventually occur in your life, okay? And you're gonna be alive for a very, very, very long time. And, we wanna make sure that we make, like I said, the best choices possible. So the first step is understanding that more than likely, you're gonna be around for a while, okay? And we have to make sure that all of us, we're all making decisions that are gonna make sure that especially yourself, think about yourself. Think about what's going to happen when you're that age. What are you going to do? Where are you going to live? If you don't have money saved, most of us can't stay living in New York, right? And it's sad. Like when I go to Walmart, or I went to the Bronx Zoo. This was really sad to me. Like I felt so sad. I went to the Bronx Zoo with my daughter, and we went to that ride. It's called the Bengali Express, you know. And there was an old man there, and I swear, the poor guy, his body, he just looked like he was just going to fall apart. Like his body was going to come apart any second. The guy could hardly walk. He was shaking every time. He could barely speak. He was trying to get people to come sit down. You do not want to be in that position, you know, especially at that age. The only job that you're most likely going to get hired for, most likely if you need a job later in your life, is going to be something that's going to have shitty hours. You're going to have to work really, really hard. Plus your age, it's going to make everything 10 times more difficult. It becomes more difficult to learn new things, right? It's more difficult for people to understand things. We forget constantly. There's Alzheimer's and dementia and all these mental breakdown, like these diseases that attack people at older ages. So you don't want to be in that position. So right now, while you're young, again, I said it earlier, while you're young is when you should be working hard and saving money. Don't be depressed because you can't go eat lobster, because you're not going to travel to all these different countries. Come on. You know, we're not children. You know, this is real life. And we can't have everything we want the way that we want it. That's not how life works. You know, stuff like this, especially like I said, with all the hard things, with all the difficult things and the sad things happening around the world, it's very important that we make a plan to make sure that we're going to be okay. Even for yourself, even if you don't have close family, even if you don't have close friends, then worry about yourself. Think about yourself. Think about what will happen when you're at that point in your life. Okay? And that's another thing is make sure that if you get married, make sure if you're engaged to get married and you whatever, as far as relationships go, this is also very, very important, because the marriage is something that can also just really hurt your future. So if you get married, make sure that that you're ready to be the husband that you need to be. Make sure that you're ready to be the wife that you need to be. Okay? Don't go cheating or lying or doing all this bullshit and look at marriage like it's not really that important. Because what happens? You get married, if you get divorced, then money. You hurt the other person. They're pissed. They're going to take your money. They're going to hurt your future. And we don't want to deal with all that bullshit. Who the hell wants to wake up every day and think to yourself, feel stressed because you got divorced and the other person is trying to take from you, and it stresses you out and it's hurting your life and it's making it more difficult for you to have a good future? Nobody wants to deal with that shit. So again, make sure that if you are in a committed relationship, this is directly connected to what I'm talking about. You know, people we think that we can get things our way, and if we don't get shit our way, we don't want to deal with it, right? And a lot of times marriages, people don't understand how to be patient. People don't understand that marriage is about sacrifice, okay? It's not about me, and it should not be about you. It's about two people who work together to make an even better future for each other, their children, their children's children, in a happy, good way, in a good way. You know, you both work, you both save money, or if one person has a great job and they're working and then the other person stays home and takes care of the kids and takes care of the home and does all the shopping and the cooking and all that stuff. You know, work together. I told you earlier, it's about togetherness and love. And I know that sounds like some hippie bullshit, but really, that's really what it's all about. Making plans, working together, family, friends, your spouse, saving money, making smart choices, and making plans for your future. That annoying noise you hear in the background is my boiler, so I apologize for that. I'm going to talk a little bit louder. But later on, as I continue making these videos, we will be talking about different things that you could do that will help you make a plan. This way, you won't have to worry about working for the rest of your life. This way, you can live comfortably. You know, we'll talk about places you can move to, places that are great for families, or great for older people, places that you can make good money and not have to pay, $3,000 a month for a one-bedroom apartment. You know what I mean? Or like if you're living in Manhattan, we all know it's insanely ridiculous. But it's really important to know that you wake up every day and you don't have any worry in your mind about what's going to happen, because you've already taken care of it. Start now. So just remember, I'm not trying to tell you that you're stupid and that you're wrong for looking at life this particular way. Mind you, I'm just trying to help people open their eyes, because like I said at the beginning, the reality of the situation is that the majority of us are going to be alive a very long time. And it is very scary when you start thinking about how you're going to function, how you're going to be able to live when you're older. And we cannot always count on our children or our nieces and nephews and relatives. I've seen so many instances where I've seen families that they love their parents, but when you get Alzheimer's or dementia, or like if you get crippled, let's say you have a stroke or there's an accident and you can't really get around anymore and you need help, I've seen people who promise, oh, Mom, Dad, I'll never send you to a home and you can live with us and blah, 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 But it's not that simple, When you have someone in your family that is very old and they're always forgetting and they're not understanding and they're falling and they're fragile and they're getting hurt and burning themselves or whatever, and then you're still working, but you leave them at home, that could be not only difficult, but dangerous. I've seen tons of older people who are always burning themselves, or they forget to turn the stove off in their house, or they leave the toaster oven running all the time. I mean, it happens all over the place. So you may leave them home and you want to take care of them, you want to do what's best, but then you come home and, they did something that could have destroyed your entire house, or the entire burned down the apartment, and so on and so forth. These are a lot. You got to think about these things. This is a part of life, and we need to make sure that for your sake, or for your family's sake, for your children's sake, that you are making the best choices possible. And if not for anybody else, make the choices for yourself. Okay? Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you again soon.